The receipt that changed everything. The box wasn't supposed to glow. Logan barely had time to register the strange warmth pulsing through his hands before the delivery scanner beeped. 3 sharp mechanical chirps that sounded nothing like the ones he was used to. Signature confirmed. A disembodied voice announced, robotic and clipped. Galactic contract 17X3 fulfilled. Logan blinked. What? He muttered, still gripping the glowing pad. He hadn't even looked at the name on the label, just a quick tap and sign. He did it 100 times a day. Auto sign, toss the package, move on. This one had been marked special handling, buried at the bottom of the truck in a crate that looked out of place. Smooth, matte black. No labels, no brand logos. But he never questioned it. That was the job now. The dashboard screen of his delivery van was flickering. The air smelled like metal and static. Then came the light. A blinding white column erupted from the package and engulfed the cabin. Logan's shout was swallowed in the flash. He reached for the door. Too late. His hands passed through it like vapor. And suddenly, silence. He was standing, no longer in his van, no longer on Earth. Cold air licked at his skin. A vast chamber stretched before him, carved from crystal and metal, impossibly tall and humming with soft blue light. Floating rings rotated slowly above what looked like a central throne, or maybe a judge's bench, complete with a shimmering humanoid figure cloaked in liquid silver robes. Logan James Smith of Terror, the figure intoned. Its face was humanish but uncanny, too symmetrical, the mouth moving out of sync with the voice. You have accepted delivery of Royal Seal Cargo 938X. By your own hand, you have triggered contractual matrimonial bonding protocols as defined under the Galactic Covenant. Logan's mouth opened, but no sound came out. Matrimo what? A second figure stepped forward. Shorter, blue-skinned, eyes like polished obsidian, wearing what looked suspiciously like a lawyer's robes. The Terran has questions, the blue alien said. Permission to explain? The silver-cloaked judge nodded. You, the lawyer said, turning to Logan, have legally accepted a marriage contract. The seal required biological contact and conscious confirmation, which you performed via digital imprint. He tapped a hollow recording floating beside him, which showed Logan tapping the screen and lazily scribbling his signature. That constitutes consent. I was signing for a package, Logan shouted. I didn't know. There's no way I could have. You did, the judge said calmly. And now, by ancient law, your union with the Royal Sisters of Sirath must proceed. I'm sorry, the what of what now? The chamber lights dimmed. From behind a shimmering veil, 3 silhouettes appeared, tall, elegant, and otherworldly. Their forms shimmered, first obscured, then revealed as the veil dissolved. Logan's breath caught. The first sister had silver-white skin like moonlight, eyes glowing faint lavender. Her expression was unreadable, stoic, and cold. She wore armor that looked ceremonial, etched with glyphs and sigils. The second looked more curious. Her skin shimmered with shifting hues, blue to violet to pink, and her eyes lit up with obvious amusement at Logan's confusion. She raised a hand and waved. The third sister stood apart, arms crossed, dark teal skin, sharp eyes, expression unreadable, but her posture screamed resistance. The Triad of Sirath, the lawyer announced. Each eligible, each bound by genetic and political law to the same matrimonial pact. The judge turned to Logan. Do you accept your responsibility as partner to the Royal Triad? Wait, no, I'm just a guy from, look, I live in Seattle. I drive a van. I don't even know who you people are. The amused sister giggled. The cold one narrowed her eyes. I didn't agree to marry anyone, Logan shouted. You agreed to the terms of the delivery, the lawyer said. You handled the cargo, made physical contact, confirmed identity, and signed on a sealed container marked with the royal crest. It was a box. The box, The cold sister finally spoke, her voice sharp and smooth. "Carried our ancestral heirloom, the binding stone. Your touch triggered the activation sequence. It cannot be undone." The judge raised a hand. "You will be granted 1 Terran rotation to acclimate. Then the rite shall begin." Before Logan could protest again, the floor vanished beneath him. He woke up in a bed made of light. That's the only way he could describe it. Soft but solid, slightly warm and glowing from beneath the sheets. The room looked like a 5-star hotel from the year 3000, seamless walls, no visible doors, and a floating console beside the bed. "Status update, hydration low," the console chirped. "Deploying nutrient mist." A soft puff of air blasted his face. Logan coughed, flailed, and fell out of the bed. He scrambled to his feet. "No, no, 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 this is insane." The wall shimmered and opened like liquid glass. Through it stepped the second sister, the curious one. She was smiling, carrying a plate of glowing fruit. "Hello, Logan," she said sweetly. "Welcome to the House of Sirath. You're, Zelda, Zira, Ziri," she said, gently placing the plate on a floating table. "I'm the middle sister. I asked to be the first to speak with you. You looked like you were about to faint earlier." "I should have fainted," Logan said, backing up, "because this is either a psychotic break or the worst episode of Black Mirror I've ever lived through." Ziri tilted her head. "We've studied human media. Black Mirror was fascinating, so pessimistic." Logan gave her a blank look. "Why me?" he said finally. "You people have spaceships, holograms, freaking nutrient mist. Why trick some random Earth guy into galactic marriage?" Ziri's smile faded. "It wasn't random," she said quietly. "You were chosen." Before Logan could ask more, a red alarm blared. The lights dimmed to a sickly orange. "Unauthorized transmission detected," a voice announced. "Phase 1 escalation protocol initiated." "What now?" Ziri's eyes went wide. She reached for the console, slamming her hand into a panel that glowed red. A holographic feed popped up, showing a corridor elsewhere in the station. In it, 2 figures cloaked in armor moved swiftly, accompanied by a third in black robes. "Is that an observer?" Ziri whispered. "From the Council. They weren't supposed to be here yet." As the feed zoomed in, Logan's stomach turned. The robed figure was carrying Earth's flag. "What are they doing with that?" he said, stepping closer. Ziri didn't answer. She tapped a second screen, and this time the audio came through. A hushed voice spoke in a language Logan didn't recognize, then seamlessly shifted into English as if the translator had kicked in. "Phase 1 is complete. Earth's binding is confirmed. The human doesn't know it yet, but by our code, his world is now ours to claim." Logan stared at the screen, heartbeat pounding. "What the hell did I just sign?" "Meet the alien sisters." Logan stared at the holographic screen, the alien words repeating in his mind in perfect English. "His world is now ours to claim." Ziri, soft-spoken, curious and deceptively sweet, snapped the console shut. "That wasn't meant for your ears," she said. "Quickly." "Too late for that," Logan muttered. "You people said I was marrying royalty, not handing over the planet." She stepped toward him. "It's more complicated than—" "No, I don't want complicated," Logan snapped. "I want answers. I want out. I want to go home." The room's lights shifted to a calming blue as Ziri raised her hands. "I'll explain, but you have to listen without panicking." "I'm already panicking. Just talk." Ziri inhaled. "The Royal Triad, my sisters and I, are bound by our system's ancient codes. The binding stone you touched? It wasn't just a relic. It was a political device. You weren't a random Terran. The stone chooses a compatible mind." "Compatible?" Logan asked. "I signed for a glowing Amazon Prime box. The stone reads patterns, consciousnesses. You were selected because... well, because you're adaptable, emotionally durable, honest." Logan gave her a deadpan stare. "I deliver packages. I still microwave frozen burritos for dinner. That doesn't make me royalty material. Ziri smiled faintly. Maybe not, but that also makes you hard to manipulate. He paused. Is that a compliment? It's a warning. Before he could respond, the wall liquefied again. This time, it wasn't Ziri's gentle presence entering, it was her, the cold one. Tall, armored and regal, she strode in with the precision of a warrior. Her white silver skin seemed to reflect the room's energy. Her violet eyes locked on Logan, and for the first time he felt truly small. Sister, Ziri said softly. Enough coddling, the cold one said. If he is to be bound to us, he must understand the seriousness of his role. Logan crossed his arms. I'm standing right here. She ignored him. Ziri, leave us. No, Ziri said, surprising both Logan and her sister. He deserves to meet all three of us together. No more secrets. For a moment the cold sister's expression flickered. Approval? Annoyance? Then the third sister entered. She didn't walk like royalty. She didn't glide like Ziri. She stomped in, arms crossed, face scowling. Her teal skin glowed with anger, her short black hair spiked in every direction. Her glare could peel paint. You, she said, pointing at Logan. You're the idiot who triggered the bond? Nice to meet you too, he muttered. I told them this was madness, she snapped, that some earth-dwelling meat sack would never understand the consequences. Okay, listen, Mad Max, Logan said. I didn't ask to get roped into a space marriage. I was tricked. You think I'm thrilled about any of this? She growled. Don't pretend you're the victim. Do you even know what this union means for you? For us? For millions of people? I'd love to. Find out, Logan said. But all I've gotten so far are riddles, legal threats, and glowing fruit. Ziri cleared her throat. Logan, meet my sisters. The eldest, Kelara, first heir of Sirath's blade, and the youngest, Riven, stormborn of the fractured moon. Kelara, the cold one, nodded formally. Riven rolled her eyes. Nice to meet you, Logan said sarcastically. I'm Logan, middle child, once got kicked out of a Walmart for arguing with a vending machine. Ziri laughed. Kelara didn't. Riven almost smiled but caught herself. You'll need to pass 3 rites, Kelara said, stepping closer. One with each of us. The bond isn't just ceremonial, it's metaphysical. You must prove compatibility. Mind, body, and purpose, Logan blinked. What if I fail? The contract dissolves, she said flatly. He sighed in relief. Along with your memory, your identity, and possibly your planet's independence. Logan's mouth dried. Riven leaned in. That's the part they didn't mention on the shipping label, huh? Later that cycle, if that's what they called. Days here. Logan was led to a chamber that resembled a mix between a meditation garden and a futuristic interrogation room. Ziri stood waiting beside a floating pool of glowing liquid. This is my right, she said, handing him a device that looked like a crown made of light. Logan eyed it. I'm not putting that on unless you tell me it doesn't fry my brain. It lets us see your memories, your truth. No lies, no secrets. Are you going to share yours? Ziri smiled gently. Already did. My mind is open to yours. Reluctantly, Logan placed the crown on his head. Warmth flooded through him. And then, visions. He saw himself as a child, building makeshift rockets out of soda bottles, crying in a dark room after his mom left, laughing with his brother in the back of a beat-up car on a road trip to nowhere, sitting alone in his van, eating fast food, watching stars, wondering what the point of it all was. Ziri was there, watching quietly, eyes soft with empathy. I see it, she whispered. You crave meaning, Logan. That's why the stone chose. You, he pulled off the crown, breath ragged. You're not what I expected. We rarely are. Next came Kelara. Her chamber was a training arena. Blades floated in mid-air. The floor was metal. She tossed him a shield. Your right is simple, she said. Survive. Excuse me? You must show resolve. When the galaxy breaks around you, will you stand? Without warning, one of the floating blades darted toward him. Logan yelped and ducked. A second buzzed past his head. The third nicked his sleeve. "I'm not a soldier," he shouted. "No, but you're still here. That matters." Blade after blade struck. He blocked one with the shield rolled under another. A glowing line sizzled across his shoulder. Pain surged, but not fatal. By the end, he was gasping, bleeding. From the arm, but still standing. Kelara approached, expression unreadable. "You bled. You didn't run. Mostly because I couldn't find the exit." She almost smiled. Last was Riven. Her chamber was different, chaotic, floating islands in a simulated sky, broken bridges, storm clouds crackling above. "Your right," she said, arms crossed, "is to let go." "Of what?" "Your fear." A storm wall approached, roaring and twisting. Logan stood at the edge of a shattered cliff. Riven pushed him. He screamed until the storm caught him and held him. He floated, weightless, terrified, free. When he landed again, Riven was beside him. "You didn't try to control it," she said. "You surrendered." "I think I threw up in the cloud." She grinned. Back in his quarters, Logan collapsed on the strange glowing bed, heart still racing. 3 trials, 3 sisters, 3 impossibilities. He couldn't do this. The door shimmered open again, but this time it wasn't a sister. It was the blue-skinned lawyer. "You passed the rites," he said flatly. Unexpected. "But now there's a complication." Logan sat up. "What kind of complication?" "A second claimant has filed. Protest with the Galactic Marriage Tribunal." "Claimant? What does that mean?" "It means someone else believes they were the true intended bondmate of the Triad. And if they prove it, your contract is null." Logan blinked. "And that's a bad thing, right? For you, possibly not. But for Earth?" The lawyer stepped aside. The screen behind him lit up. A monstrous figure appeared. Reptilian, massive, cloaked in armor. Eyes burning like embers. Its voice growled through the speakers. "The human is a mistake. I am the rightful heir. The Triad will be mine." Or terror burns. The challenge of the heir previously. Logan completed the 3 bonding rites with the alien. Sisters, Ziri, Kelara, and Riven. He proved his worth through empathy, courage, and surrender. But just as things seemed to stabilize, a new threat emerged. A reptilian warrior named Vorash, who claims he is the rightful heir to the Triad's bond, and threatens to destroy Earth if denied. The challenge of the heir, the creature's voice, echoed in the chamber like a growl of thunder. "I am Vorash, warlord of the Caldron Ascendancy. The Triad will be mine, or your blue planet becomes my hunting ground." The screen crackled off. Logan sat frozen, mind racing. Did that guy just declare war? The lawyer, Sarin, adjusted his glowing sash calmly. Technically, he invoked an ancient marital challenge clause, a duel. He's petitioned the tribunal. "A duel?" Logan barked. "This isn't Game of Thrones in space. I'm a delivery driver. He's a walking tank with a jaw like a bear trap." Ziri stepped forward, face pale. "If Vorash is accepted as a contender, galactic law permits him a challenge. If you refuse, the Triad forfeits the bond, and his claim overrides." Kelara's eyes narrowed. "This is a power move. His house has long wanted to merge bloodlines with ours. He's not interested in love. He's interested in control." Logan turned to Sarin. "So what happens now?" Sarin tapped on a floating panel. "The tribunal will review both claims. If they deem yours valid, you'll be forced to face Vorash in a trial of honor, 1-on-1. Riven snorted. "You might last 2 seconds." "Thanks," Logan muttered. "Real morale booster." Hours later, Logan stared out into the stars through the crystalline window of his quarters. He could still feel the storm from Riven's trial in his bones, the ache of the blade from Kylara's arena, the quiet sadness from Zyri's mind-walk. He never asked for this. He wanted to deliver a package, eat leftovers, maybe find time to call his brother, and now the fate of Earth might depend on whether he could beat an alien warlord in ritual combat. The door whooshed open. It was Kylara. "You need training," she said flatly. "I need a miracle." She stepped closer. "If you die, the bond is void. The Caldron fleet will descend. Your planet doesn't have defenses for interstellar assault." Logan looked up. "So teach me. But I'm warning you, I flunked PE. Training began at dawn, or the ship's version of it. Kylara taught him discipline, precision, balance. You'll never beat Vorash with brute strength. You must endure, outlast. Riven taught him deception. He expects fury. Give him hesitation. When he presses, bend. Zyri focused on his mind. His rage is his weapon, but also his flaw. Stay centered, think like water. Day after day, Logan trained. He fell, bled, cried, but he got back up. Even the ship seemed to notice, adjusting his quarters subtly to help his recovery. The walls grew softer, the air more oxygen-rich, his meals more calorie-dense. He was changing. One evening, after a brutal session with Kylara, he sat on the training platform, bruised and exhausted. She knelt beside him, a rare softness in her voice. "You don't realize what you've already done." Logan raised an eyebrow. "You're still here," she said. "Most beings would have collapsed, fled, betrayed us." "I would have," he muttered. "A week ago." She placed her hand on his. The stone didn't choose wrong. Before Logan could respond, a pulse echoed through the ship. Dum! Then another, like a heartbeat but deeper, more primal. The lawyer's voice rang out. "The tribunal has ruled. The human's claim stands. The duel is authorized. Trial begins at first light. Trial chamber, orbiting court of Galthern the chamber. Floated in high orbit, surrounded by 50 warships from various factions. It resembled a coliseum made of starlight, with thousands of beings watching silently. Logan stood in the center, armored in a ceremonial suit provided by the sisters. Lightweight, flexible, and laced with shimmering blue threads of memory metal. Across from him, Vorash, 7 feet tall, hulking, scaled armor fused with biotech. A glowing axe hung from his back. Vorash laughed. "You bring a pet to battle, Royal Sisters," Logan cracked his neck. "Call me a pet again, Lizard Daddy, and I'll turn you into boots," Vorash snarled. The Arbiter raised her staff. "Combatants, are you prepared?" "I am," Vorash boomed. Logan hesitated, heart pounding. He turned. Ziri met his gaze, nodded. Riven gave a fist pump. Kylara mouthed one word. "Breathe." Logan turned back. "I'm ready." The staff slammed down. "Begin." Vorash charged like a beast unchained. Logan dodged. Right, barely. The axe hit the floor and cracked the platform. Okay, he's faster than he looks. Logan ducked under a swing, rolled, and tried to strike the side, but Vorash blocked it effortlessly. "You flail like a hatchling." Logan smirked. "You fight like you're compensating for something." Vorash roared, charging in blind rage. Logan sidestepped, using Riven's lessons. Feint, mislead, bait. Then, crack! The axe grazed his shoulder. He cried out, stumbling. Back. Armor sparking, Zyri's voice echoed in his mind. "Stay centered. Think like water." He closed his eyes. Let the pain wash over, then moved. He dropped low, sliding between Vorash's legs, jabbing his blade at a joint in the warlord's armor. Sparks flew. Vorash stumbled. Logan rose, swinging hard, landed a hit to the warlord's side. Vorash howled, and in a blur grabbed Logan by the neck and lifted him into the air. "You are nothing," he hissed. "An insect. I will end you, and then I will make the sisters mine." Logan gasped, blood rushing from his head. His hand touched the pouch on his belt. Inside the stone, he pulled it free. The binding stone pulsed in his palm, glowing brighter, hotter. Vorash faltered. "What is—" Logan slammed the stone against Vorash's chest. There was a pulse, a sonic boom of raw light. The arena shook. Vorash screamed, dropping Logan. The warlord stumbled back, clutching his chest. What did you do?" Ziri stepped forward from the crowd. "The stone has chosen. Its touch burns false airs." The Arbiter's voice thundered. "Vorash is disqualified. The bond stands. The trial ends." Gasps rippled through the galactic audience. Logan collapsed to one knee, panting. Riven ran to him first, grabbing his shoulder. "Still breathing," she muttered. "Unbelievable." Kelara helped him stand. "You fought like a warrior." Ziri simply smiled. "And you felt like one." The Arbiter raised her staff. "By the laws of the Accord and the testament of the stars, the Union shall proceed." Vorash growled, but was escorted out by armored guards. Logan blinked. "So, that's it? I won?" Ziri turned to him, voice suddenly quiet. "No, Logan. You only passed the surface challenge." He blinked. "There's more?" Kelara stepped forward, her expression grim. "Vorash was just the distraction. Someone else forged that package to force this marriage. Someone with power, inside the tribunal." Riven added, "And if that's true, your signing was never an accident. The signature was forged, a hologram flickered to life above the tribunal's records chamber. Logan's signature, glowing in blue ink, hovered in midair. You see that?" Riven snapped. "That's not his handwriting." Kelara nodded grimly. "Look at the curvature of the L. His actual signature slants right. This slants left. It's been mirrored." Sarin, the tribunal lawyer, frowned as he examined the data stream. "The biometric stamp is intact, but the metadata is off. This file was tampered with. Timestamp predates your delivery." Logan stared at the projection. "So, someone planned for me to sign it, before I even got there." Ziri turned slowly, the color draining from her face. "Which means someone wanted you in the bond. Specifically you." Kailara's voice was low. "But why you? What do they gain by forcing a human into a royal triad?" Sarin paced. "It's possible the bond itself wasn't the objective. It was the reaction, the controversy, the challenge, the political unrest. Whoever did this wanted to destabilize the royal line." Riven growled. "And they used Logan like a pawn." A silent pause spread between them. Then Logan whispered, "We need to find out who." Deep in the tribunal archives, the halls stretched endlessly, glowing with lines of golden alien script. The walls held secrets, sealed files, classified decisions, ancient legal mechanisms. Logan followed the sisters into a restricted chamber guarded by a floating AI warden named Mern, a blue, translucent orb with 3 blinking eyes. "Access denied," Mern stated. "Clearance level, bloodline prime or higher." Kelara stepped forward and pressed her hand to the wall. "Bloodline override. Kelara Zenth of the 3rd house." Mern paused. "Clearance accepted. Welcome, Kelara." As the vault opened, with a hiss of steam, Logan muttered, "You guys have the best passwords." Inside were rows of memory strands, crystal fibers that stored not just data, but moments. If the digital record was forged, the memory strand could show the truth. Ziri carefully pulled the one marked Earth Route 47B, Delivery Incident 303. She placed it in a resonance reader. A projection appeared. Logan watched himself approach the house, package in hand, greeted by a soft blue scanning light. He blinked. "That's the scanner I remember, but that signature, that wasn't me." Then the feed glitched. Kelara snapped, "Pause it, reverse, zoom in." The glitch looped again. A hooded figure stepped into frame, barely visible, one finger raised to the scanner. The system accepted the signature before Logan even touched it. Ziri's voice dropped to a whisper. "That's pre-auth." Only high-ranking legal technicians or tribunal members can override a binding like that. Riven clenched her fists. So this wasn't a clerical error. It was deliberate sabotage. Sarin nodded solemnly. You've just uncovered a felony. A galactic one. Back on the royal ship, hours later, the atmosphere was tense. The bond hadn't broken, but now it was layered with questions. Was it real or manufactured? Logan sat alone on the viewing deck, staring out at the stars. The adrenaline from the trial had faded, and the weight of reality settled in. He was married to 3 alien sisters. He had just fought an alien warlord, and now he was the center of a conspiracy that threatened interstellar law. Ziri approached, quietly, holding a mug that smelled faintly of cinnamon and ozone. "Mind if I sit?" she asked. He nodded. She handed him the drink. For a while, neither spoke. Finally, Logan asked, "Do you think the bond chose me because of who I am? Or because someone made it happen?" Ziri looked into the stars. "I don't know. But here's what I do know. When I touched the stone with you, I didn't feel manipulation. I felt truth. But what if it was all a lie? Even if it started that way, maybe it became real." Logan looked at her. "You sound like you're starting to believe in us." She smiled faintly. "I'm starting to believe in you." Kalara's quarters. That night Kalara stood alone, staring at a map of interstellar factions. One system blinked red, House Veltrax. Riven stormed in frustrated. "We should have gone public, shamed the tribunal." "That would have backfired," Kalara replied coolly. "If our enemies wanted chaos, public exposure would help them." Riven scowled. "You always play the long game, even if it kills us." "Not if we stay 10 moves ahead." Kalara zoomed in on a faction known for legal manipulation and shadow. "Politics. Veltrax has the tech, the motive, and the access." Riven raised an eyebrow. "You think they forged the bond?" "I think they engineered everything, including Vorash's challenge. And if they find out we're onto them," Kalara's voice was ice, "then Logan won't just be in danger. Earth will burn." Emergency alert. 2 hours later, intruder. Alert breach on deck 7. Logan jolted awake. He grabbed the pulse staff Riven gave him and bolted toward the noise. Explosions echoed in the lower corridor. Sparks flew, walls cracked. He rounded the corner just in time to see a cloaked figure upload a data spike into the ship's core. "Hey!" Logan shouted. The figure turned. For a second their face was visible. A tribunal technician, Logan, swung. The intruder blocked and struck back, knocking him against the wall. But before they could finish him, Riven tackled the assailant from the ceiling, snarling. They struggled, then the figure slipped away, vanishing into a vent. Sarin arrived moments later, eyes wide. "They tried to erase the memory strands," Ziri gasped. "They're trying to cover their tracks." Kalara checked the console. "Too late. I already backed up the data to 3. "Off-grid nodes," Riven growled. "So now they know we're onto them." Logan sat up, dazed. "They're scared. That's a good sign, right?" Kalara helped him up. "It's also a warning. The next move will be open." Hours later, in the ship's command center, the sisters gathered around a central projection. Kalara pointed to a flashing signal. "A message, encrypted, origin Veltrax Prime." Sarin decrypted it. His face went pale. "It's not a message," he whispered. "It's a summons." Ziri stepped forward. "To what?" "To the tribunal's hidden chamber," Sarin replied. "The judgment nexus, only summoned when the foundations of law itself are under threat." Riven crossed her arms. "Sounds about right." Kalara's eyes narrowed. "They want to silence us." Ziri disagreed. "No, they want to test us." Sarin turned to Logan. "You'll need to speak. In front of the tribunal. All 12 high. Lawkeepers." Logan's face went blank. "Me? I'm not a diplomat. I'm barely a functioning adult." Ziri put a hand on his shoulder. "You have one thing no one else in the galaxy has." "What's that?" "Truth. Final scene. On approach to the Judgment Nexus, the ship entered orbit around a lifeless black sphere. No stars reflected off it. No light escaped its surface. Inside, the place where justice was decided and secrets buried. As the sisters prepared Logan in ceremonial robes, Kaylara gave him a small metal shard. "What's this?" "Emergency override," she said. "If things go wrong, press it," Riven added with a smirk. "It blows up the floor beneath your chair. Instant escape pod." Logan stared. "That's comforting." Zayari fixed his collar gently. "You've come further than anyone expected. Whatever happens next, we face it together." As the ship docked and the doors hissed open, a cold, mechanical voice echoed. "The tribunal will now hear the case of the forged bond and the challenge to galactic law itself." The tribunal turns previously. Logan and the alien sisters uncovered evidence that the marriage bond was forged by a shadowy figure within the Galactic Tribunal. Now summoned to the Judgment Nexus, Logan must defend not only his accidental marriage, but the future of Earth and galactic law itself. Part 5. The Tribunal turns. The walls of the Judgment Nexus hummed with ancient force. 12 translucent thrones hovered in a perfect arc. Each was occupied by a high lawkeeper, their forms cloaked in shimmering robes that blurred their features. Every lawkeeper was thousands of years old, rumored to be part machine, part mind, long detached from mortality. The central voice boomed across the chamber. "Proceed!" Logan stood in a narrow shaft of white light. He felt like an ant before. Titans. Behind him, the three sisters, Kaylara, Ziri, and Riven, watched silently. Kaylara gave him a slight nod. Riven's fingers twitched near her belt. Ziri mouthed, "Just breathe." A lawkeeper's voice cut through the chamber. "You are Logan Riley, species human, occupation, logistics carrier, charged with violating Triad Bond protocols, falsely activating an intergalactic mating accord, and triggering unlawful noble inheritance through marriage to Royal House Zenth. How do you plead?" Logan swallowed hard. "Not guilty, and I didn't trigger anything. I just dropped off a package." Another lawkeeper leaned forward. "And yet you stand married to 3 high-born alien women and hold claim to royal assets. A statistical anomaly, bordering on impossibility." Logan lifted a hollow crystal from his pocket. "This contains evidence of a forged signature and illegal override on the delivery pad. Someone made it look like I agreed to the bond before I even arrived." He projected the footage. The chamber dimmed. The hooded figure appeared. The scanner accepted a forged biometric. Then Logan entered, completely unaware. A slow murmur ran through the lawkeepers. Then silence. "Who forged it?" a lawkeeper asked. Kaylara stepped forward. "We traced the code to a deep tribunal registry. Clearance. Level Omega Gold. That level is restricted to a handful of elite bureaucrats and political operatives." Ziri added, "The style of the code points matches a faction known for subverting protocol, House Veltrax." "Accusations without a name are meaningless." Another lawkeeper snapped. Logan spoke up. "Then I'll name one." He tapped the device Kaylara gave him. A second projection emerged. The intruder who attacked their ship, unmasked by facial recognition, Tribunal Officer Saren Drek. The chamber erupted in flashing lights and alert glyphs. "He was your own agent," Kaylara said coldly. "And he tried to destroy evidence linking you to this scandal." One lawkeeper slowly stood. Their voice, deeper than the others, thundered, "Then the tribunal has been compromised." Moments later, outside the chamber. "Is that good?" Logan asked. Kaylara exhaled slowly. "Depends. If they believe us, they'll act. If they don't, they might wipe us out." Riven finished, arms crossed. Saren appeared, holding a new data scroll. I pulled this from the Nexus registry. It's worse than we thought. Tribunal member Drek wasn't working alone. He was backed by a movement. Inside House Veltrax, and he wasn't the only one placed in high positions. Kilara frowned. They're trying to rewrite the laws from the inside. Ziri paled. The bond laws, if they change them, we lose everything. Logan furrowed his brow. Then this isn't about marriage, it's about power. Meanwhile, in the tribunal cloister inn, a hidden room behind the judgment chamber, several lawkeepers stood in heated discussion. We cannot let this go public, one said. The integrity of our rulings will be questioned galaxy-wide. Then we must control the fallout, deny the marriage, reassign the bond, erase the human's involvement. But he holds proof, then remove the proof. Back in the Nexus, final summons Logan, the sisters and Saren were summoned again. The chamber was darker now. Shadows crept from the walls like smoke. The energy had shifted. The central lawkeeper spoke. We have deliberated. Due to the high likelihood of subversion and the irregular nature of this bond, we move to dissolve the triadic contract and remove Logan Riley from House Zenth. Ziri gasped. No! Riven shouted. Kilara stepped forward. You can't. That bond was confirmed by the trial of honor. He earned it. Another lawkeeper dismissed her. Symbolic trials do not override the foundational law, Logan felt. The blood drained from his face. Wait, you're just going to undo my life because someone else framed me. Saren stepped forward. They have the authority to override any marriage, but only if there is no higher sovereign to veto it. Kilara's eyes widened. There is one, she said softly. Ziri whispered. You don't mean... Kilara nodded. The Triad Bond Law predates the Tribunal. It was ratified under the founding charter of the Seven Stars, and the charter places last authority in the hands of a union-coded sovereign consort. Riven blinked. That's Logan. Logan pointed at himself. Me? Kilara nodded. As bearer of a confirmed Triad bond, with nobility from 3 different houses, you're technically a galactic consort, and your vote overrides the tribunals on marital matters. The lawkeepers froze. A glowing symbol appeared beneath Logan's feet. It had been dormant until now. It pulsed with royal frequency. Override accepted, said the Nexus AI. Logan stepped forward. I don't know what kind of empire you people run, he said, but on Earth we don't ruin people's lives over bad paperwork and backroom deals. I didn't ask for this marriage, but I earned these sisters' trust. I protected them. I survived your trials. And now you want to erase that because it's inconvenient for your politics? He raised his voice. Well, too bad. You broke your own rules, so I'm using them. He held out the shard Kilara gave him. By right of override as Galactic Consort, I invoke Sovereign Clause 7. The bond remains intact. The Tribunal cannot alter it, and any attempt to interfere will be treated as a breach of interstellar law. Silence. Then, the Tribunal AI confirmed, override complete, marriage confirmed, charges dissolved, case dismissed. Aftermath, on the return ship, the stars shimmered outside as the Judgment Nexus faded into the distance. No one spoke for a long while, then Riven cracked her neck. You owned that chamber, Ziri grinned. You looked like a terrified intern. The whole time. Kilara touched Logan's arm gently. You didn't just survive their judgment, Logan. You changed it. He smiled weakly. I still don't know what the hell I'm doing. Kilara stepped close. Neither do we, but somehow it feels right. In the shadows, elsewhere a cloaked figure stood before a communication node. Logan Riley survived. Another voice replied through static. Then we move to Phase 2. Shall we begin the Earth Protocol? No. First we turn the people against him. Let the galaxy tear him apart. Final scene. On board Logan's personal. cabin, Logan stared at the stars again, sipping a warm drink. Behind him, the sisters rested, finally relaxed. He took a breath. The peace was real, but a notification blinked on his console. Earth government requesting urgent communication. RE, Interstellar Marriage Treaty Conflict. Logan's eyes narrowed. Of course, he muttered. Now they call. He tapped the screen, and the message began to play. The Earth ultimatum previously. Logan exposed the corruption within the Galactic Tribunal and asserted his unexpected legal authority as a sovereign consort. But as the dust settled, Earth's own governments issued a dire message, one that could unravel everything. Location: personal cabin, on board the Horizon Ember. The holoscreen lit Logan's face in pale blue as Earth's message played. To Logan Riley, you are hereby summoned to Earth Council Command. Your unauthorized union with non-human nobility presents a global security risk. Surrender immediately or face planetary exile. United Earth governance. His cup slipped from his hand, crashing to the floor. Planetary exile, Zyri echoed, sitting upright. They can't be serious, Riven growled. You just saved an entire galactic law system. Kailara stood perfectly still. This is about control. Earth fears what they can't command. You've become too powerful too fast, Logan. He exhaled hard. I didn't ask for any of this. Sarin entered with a data slate. It gets worse. Earth's preparing to sever all relations with the Galactic Assembly unless you're returned to stand trial. They're calling it the Earth Ultimatum, orbiting Earth. Aboard the Skylock station, Logan had never imagined Earth would feel so foreign. Military ships loomed beyond the windows. Drones followed him at every corridor. You've got 10 minutes, barked a uniformed officer. The council's waiting. In a sealed conference room, 10 world leaders glared at him through a translucent projection table. The lead diplomat, a woman with sharp cheekbones and colder eyes, spoke first. You've created a galactic scandal, Logan Riley. 3 alien. Wives, royal ones. Do you realize what that makes you? Logan raised a brow. Lucky? A few aides chuckled. She didn't. It makes you a wild card, and wild cards destabilize Earth's image. We're already being laughed at by Martian colonies and lunar trade unions. So you want me to give them up, pretend nothing happened? Logan asked quietly. Another councilman leaned in. We want you to formally renounce the triadic bond and surrender your consort rights. Earth can't afford an individual with more intergalactic pull than its own president. And if I refuse? They answered with silence. Logan stood. You're not afraid of me. You're afraid that a normal, human, just a delivery guy, found something bigger than politics. Kailara, Zyri, and Riven appeared via the room's side entrance. They'd been listening. Kailara stepped up. Earth isn't ready for unity. You're afraid of love that spans stars. Riven added, afraid of a man who didn't need weapons or wealth to change galactic law. Just truth. Zyri faced the council. Logan doesn't belong to Earth anymore. He belongs to something bigger. The councilwoman narrowed her gaze. Then he's no longer Earth's citizen. Logan smirked. I can live with that. He turned to leave. No one walks away from the Earth Council, an officer shouted. A voice cut through the room. Actually, I believe I do. It was Ambassador Trask, Earth's former delegate to the Galactic Assembly, long thought missing. He entered the chamber flanked by 2 alien dignitaries. Trask raised a scroll. By galactic decree, Earth is now a provisional member of the Assembly. Logan Riley's union grants humanity a voice it never had. If you exile him, Earth loses its seat permanently. Gasps rippled across the council. Logan blinked. You planned this? Trask smiled. You delivered a package, but what you really delivered was proof that humanity is worthy of galactic trust. Aboard the Horizon Ember, days later, Logan sat on the deck, watching the stars bend in the warp stream. I still don't know what I am, he muttered. Kelara slid beside him. You're our anchor. Riven plopped down on the other side. And our chaos. Ziri floated in gently, sipping glowing tea. Also our legal loophole. Logan chuckled. He looked at each of them. I never planned on this. Never thought I was meant for anything more than moving boxes. Kelara's voice was soft. You didn't find the universe. The universe found you. There was a quiet moment. Then Sarin entered, holding a small, flat box. This just came through the comnet. Priority relay. From Earth. Addressed to all of you. Logan opened it cautiously. Inside was a simple plaque, engraved in silver. It read, to Logan Riley, human husband, herald of unity, the first to marry into the stars. At the bottom, the Earth seal was embedded, signed by every member of the council. Final scene, Logan's message to the universe. In a small recording room, Logan sat before a camera. He took a deep breath. This message is for anyone out there who thinks they're too small to matter. I was a nobody, just a guy moving stuff across boring systems. I didn't have a plan. I didn't have power. But one day, I signed a receipt, and everything changed. What I learned is this. Sometimes, the universe doesn't pick the powerful or the perfect. It picks the willing. And if you're lucky, really lucky, it gives you love in a form you never saw coming. So don't run when something weird happens. Don't close the door because it's scary. Open it, even if there are 3 alien sisters on the other side. He smiled. Especially then. Final lesson. You don't have to be powerful, perfect, or even prepared. Sometimes just being present, choosing. Honesty, connection, and courage is enough to change your fate and everyone else's. The end.